Ladies and gentlemen, we're reading some scripture. It says, "Hear me, O Lord, for your loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of your tender mercies. Do not hide your face from your servant. For I am in trouble. Hear me speedily. Draw nigh unto my soul and redeem it. Deliver me because of my enemies." And this is again a psalm of deliverance. And I hope the same for you guys today as you go through your day. Have a great one. This is awesome. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Now, I already showed you guys that in the screenplay, Zack Snyder sort of scripted out, kind of drew out the screenplay where you see Darkseid. And I told you guys that it was rumored that the Darkseid nightmare that we see in that scripted scene is when the Cyborg jacked into the Kryptonian scout ship. Well, look what this says here. The rumor is that Darkseid's nightmare scene came via Cyborg when he was jacked into the Kryptonian scout ship. This shows the future where Superman is evil. After that, they revive Superman. Cyborg's armor's defense system goes haywire, and he says, "It's been stronger since the interface. I can't control it." This is because the AI, well, it's actually the living machine that's in him, okay, what is known as the grid, in the suit saw the future and recognizes Superman as a threat and fires on him against Cyborg's will. That makes so much sense. And absolutely, I think I can agree with this, even though it's still a rumor in a sort of way. I absolutely agree with that. So remember I reported to you guys about Cyborg jacking in, and he gets to see certain things about Darkseid, and that's the scene from BVS, and we know it's a bad Superman there. And now his defense system on identifying this bad Superman attacks it. Of course, later on, Cyborg also jacks into the mother boxes, which are together in the final sequences. He says, "This is not," and they cut out a scene there. And I don't know what's in "this is not" scene, but I can tell you that he saw something. And then Steppenwolf comes back and says, "Can you see it?" So I'm telling you now that there's more to that scene than meets the eye. So, they cut it out of the movie. And it's okay. It's okay. I like the movie for what it is now, but I definitely would like to know what it is that Cyborg saw 2 times. And I think we know what it is. I would just love to see it on the screen. This is the reason why we need a director's cut. This is why we need Zack Snyder's flushed out version of this movie. Because there are points in this movie which really are sort of very important to tying together the trilogy in ways that make it deeper and more meaningful. The story's there, like I said before, but there are deeper things that Zack Snyder was giving with little scenes, little moments. He doesn't give you all the moments all at once. It wasn't like a big chunk of footage removed from any given moment. Well, at certain places they would be, but it's like little moments that would have made a big difference in terms of taking this movie from a solid, good film to a masterpiece of a film. An epic, of epic proportions. I'm not saying Justice League wasn't epic. It was epic. Because some people were saying it wasn't epic. It was epic. I mean, you covering different places, different countries. The fight scenes were huge. There were superpowered beings. It was epic. But not on the level that Zack wanted us to see. And that's the only difference. I would have loved to see what Zack really had in mind. And I still do. So I'm all for the release the Snyder Cut, people. Listen, release the Snyder. Don't give up now, release the Snyder Cut, people. Keep on pushing out this kind of stuff. You see, this kind of stuff that persuaded me. When I saw Warner Bros. Put out the deleted scene with Superman going to get that suit and Hans Zimmer score and stuff, that convinced me amongst anything else. And the signs were there before. It's just I didn't have the solid information. I could still rationalize things. Now we know, Zack had completed, didn't complete, but he almost completed a cut, and it was watchable and everything, and Warner Bros. Decided to go a different direction with that. And yes, they did have to tie up loose ends, but they used the reshoot situation to do more, and to cut out things which I think would have added to this film tremendously, and I understand why. His son actually said that, they were going for something totally bigger than what was presented to us on the screen. I still purchased what is presented to us on the screen and the behind the scenes footage and stuff, but I'm not satisfied. I can't just say, "Oh, I'm good, man. We don't need no director's cut." Hell no. I am not satisfied. I am using that and I'm feeding on that until we get the director's cut, which hopefully comes out either next year or a little bit later. It's so long away, though. I want to see this whole thing, and I don't want the deleted scenes. I don't want to have to package together a movie. No. We want the complete director's cut and want it finished as well, so that we can have the legacy. That's what I'll be looking at forever. I'll take the Whedon Snyder kind of mix with Marvel and DC. I'll take that as something to remember, as a hallmark where there was a beginning of a crossover, because I want to remember this for when Marvel crosses over with DC at some point in time, or whoever crosses over DC. Then they will. You know, I know that. I was just watching Crisis on Earth X, I think it's called. Crisis on Earth X. Some scenes from YouTube. And Crisis on Earth X is pretty much like running like a Marvel film, if you ask me. Now, there's the superpower being element, but they really focus on the human element. That's where they spend most of their time. And if you look at Black Panther, if you look at almost all the Marvel films, they mainly deal with people on the human scale. They don't really deal with the superpowered being scale. The DCEU focuses on the superpower being scale, so it's a whole other epic level. It's just tremendous, and you get to see superpower beings fight one another, and it's totally different. It's totally different. I mean, I love certain scenes in Crisis X. I mean, Crisis Infinite X. Now, the people who were saying that Crisis on Earth X was better than Justice League, y'all need to go get your heads checked, okay? There's something wrong with you, because there's no way it's in the same league with Justice League. Just in special effects, just in terms of the magnitude and so many other things. Okay, it was fun to watch, but very, 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 very normal. It's like your typical engagements. It's your typical way of fighting, and everything was just not, you know. I love to see Supergirl flying around, though. That was crazy, and the Flash moving around fast. But that's about it. I mean, and Firestorm. I love that Firestorm was doing his thing. It's just nice to see those characters on screen doing their thing. And Wally West, I think that's Wally West I've seen there, or one of them. But at the end of the day, it cannot compare with Justice League. You got to be out of your goddamn mind to say that, okay? So maybe you guys like the action and how it falls down and stuff, and you see your favorite characters in your typical familiar way, and they're not really doing anything outside of, there's nothing to challenge you. Fine. It's for TV. And for TV, it's phenomenal. But when it comes to movies, it's Justice League is in a whole different league. Okay? So please don't go there. Alright. And the other thing is, as I break down Justice League, I will also be looking forward to linking these movies together. Justice League, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Wonder Woman, and Black Panther is my last. I think they're all speaking on a specific topic. Even Blade Runner 2049, which I haven't really covered with you guys in extensive detail. I'll start breaking down these movies, because these movies, to me, are the movies we should be seeing in the cinema. You know, we had a lot of great comic book movies last year, but I think Aquaman is going to continue that statement in some sort of way, shape, or form. And I think definitely looking forward to Aquaman. Still not looking forward to Infinity War per se, but Aquaman definitely. And I would like to see if they can take Infinity War and actually say something worth saying to us, because Black Panther definitely did that. All right, guys. Also, I wanted to tell the people who are pitting Black Panther against Justice League and trying to put down Justice League to big up Black Panther. You remember Killmonger in Black Panther, right? You remember his approach to things. Don't go the Killmonger route. Don't go the Killmonger route. You watch Black Panther. You know Killmonger was in there. Don't go the Killmonger route. That's what you're doing, and you know that. So stop it. Stop it. If you saw that movie and it had an impact on your life, stop it now. One guy on Facebook, he put out that thing, and when I told him you're going the Killmonger route, he withdrew his statement. I'm glad he did that. Alright? Because you know what Black Panther is talking about. And you know what Black Panther is about. So don't do that. Alright? So I just want to warn people, because I've seen the movie now. So y'all can't misstep. Alright? And it's not because I saw the movie and it pushed me to say I need to come together. We need to continue pressing to come together. It's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. We not always agree with each other, but it's important we come together. Marvel and DC unite. DCEU fans unite as well. All right. I'm one with you in terms of getting Zack Snyder's cut out there. I am not one with you in putting down Justice League, the current cut, to elevate Zack Snyder's cut. I don't need to do that. See, and that's the thing I'm trying to tell you people. You don't have to destroy something to make something else look better. It by itself is going to show that it's better. We already know Zack Snyder's directed cut is going to be superior to the theatrical cut. We don't need to put down the theatrical cut to elevate Zack Snyder. We don't need to do that. We can acknowledge the injustices to Zack Snyder, especially to Junkie XL. The injustice to Junkie XL, how he was fired off of the thing. We can acknowledge that. That was the wrong way to go with Warner Brothers. But it doesn't mean that we go now and we badmouth Warner Brothers with every single film after that. See, there's a way to criticize something without being hateful, resentful, and being destructive. All right? And I still feel, even though I understand why the fans will feel a certain way about Justice League, I still feel that it was wrong what they did to boycott the Justice League movie and to hurt it from the inside. And one thing you need to learn from Marvel fans is they can have their criticisms, as even say Thor Ragnarok was disappointing to me, but they supported Thor Ragnarok. And you have to learn as DCEU fans that if a movie's good, and Justice League was good, it wasn't Thor Ragnarok. Imagine, we get a film like Thor Ragnarok. That film, we know that film. Any DC fan will tell you. If we had a film like Thor Ragnarok, it would get the Batman and Robin treatment. It would get the Catwoman treatment. It would get the Green Lantern treatment. And Green Lantern was better than Thor Ragnarok. Green Lantern was better than Thor Ragnarok. Okay? It was better. Much more serious movie than Thor Ragnarok, even though it had comedy in it. Alright? Superman Returns was better than Thor Ragnarok. And those movies bummed because DC fans don't just buy into bullshit. Right? And Justice League was not Thor Ragnarok. Justice League wasn't even Wonder Woman. It was better than both. For reasons I can always explain. Thor Ragnarok was, you couldn't take the character seriously. Justice League you could. Wonder Woman was about the story and background of Wonder Woman. Told us why she's Wonder Woman, who she is. Justice League incorporates that. Incorporates the stuff that happened in BVS. Incorporates the stuff that happens in Man of Steel. And it even is, in some oblique way, a follow-up to what happened in Suicide Squad. All of these things happened in Justice League. And for somebody to tie in all that stuff together, which is Zack Snyder, of course, in a movie, and do it in 2 hours, thanks to the editors, Joss Whedon's reshoots, etc. It's a hell of a movie. And it's a hell of a ride. That's why I saw it 10 times. I don't see shit 10 times. You know that. So of course it's a hell of a movie. It's a good, solid movie. It's not a masterpiece. Alright? Just like how I wouldn't say Black Panther's a masterpiece. I wouldn't say Wonder Woman's a masterpiece. I wouldn't say Man of Steel's a masterpiece. But it doesn't mean that the movie that we've seen, alright, which is solid, can't be better. And there isn't a better draft of this movie out there. So that is why supporting this movie is not a bad thing. But if you don't support it, it's not a bad thing either. Because that means you want to look for the best. Some people, they don't want to go in the theater and see the best and see a compromised copy. They want to see the best copy. So if you can get it on Blu-ray and DVD, they prefer to go and watch it on Blu-ray and DVD than watch it in the theater, because you know there's a better copy coming. And that seems to be the trend with Zack Snyder, unfortunately, after Man of Steel. So some people would say, you know what, I'm not going in there. I'm going to watch the home release. Fine. But at the end of the day, when you go out there and actively hate on a movie and say it's a travesty of justice and all of that, and then you say people must not go and watch this movie, I'm not with that. I don't tell anybody not to go watch Thor Ragnarok. I could. I could start going in on Thor Ragnarok. How much I hate it and stuff. And I could tell people, don't go see Thor Ragnarok. But why would I do that? It's movies. They're made for people to watch. Why would I boycott something like that? Ghostbusters, which is a hot mess in my opinion. It did not even succeed in being funny. Ghostbusters. I never told people, don't go see it. I did say, it's a pile of mess as far as I'm concerned. It's not funny. I wasn't even mildly entertained by it, and I'm not interested in it. And that was it. I didn't go on and on and on and on about Ghostbusters. Alright? And similarly, unless you get me in a discussion, Batman and Robin, I did not like. It's still a film I don't like. I went and watched pieces of it and I did not like it. Why? Because it doesn't take Batman seriously. They try to pull off the Adam West stuff. And I am not for that. And it backfired big time. And I'm just saying that with films, it's better if you seek to be positive, because the movies, and it's another thing, people go into so much irrelevant stuff. Let me explain what I mean. A movie tells its story. You're going to ignore the important things about the story, and you're going to focus on irrelevant stuff. Films were made to get you to discuss certain things, certain films at least, to have a discussion on certain things. And so if, I don't care how much you hate a film, you ignore what the film was trying to discuss with you, that is where I have a problem as well. We must be able to acknowledge the inherent value in certain movies. When I did my breakdown review of Thor Ragnarok, I was very precise in acknowledging the virtues and inherent values that were inside of Thor Ragnarok. I wanted people to get that, because I think those are important points. Whether I like Thor Ragnarok or not, these are the things that the movie was saying. And those are important things for us to do. We must separate our preferences, emotional ties, whether we think a movie is good or not, in terms of, for us, from what the movie was saying. Because story comes first. Virtue comes first, before we go into anything else. Alright? Now, I just wanted to do this video for you guys. I'm going to spread it all over social media as usual. I got to go to work. You guys have a great one.